Welcome into KTVO's Gridiron Lights preview show, where the P is silent for the first half of it. Kayla McGee, Chris Burns rocking with you. We're 3 weeks into the high school football season, and there have been many impressive teams.
We have 5 state-ranked teams already, with many teams still improving.
One impressive team, the Kirksville Tigers, who grabbed their 3rd straight win over a tough Savannah squad. They were down 6-0 after the Savages scored early. This was a game against the team that Kirksville hadn't scored against in 2 years, Kaylin.
Not anymore. Jace Kent would pick up 58 of his 140 yards on the ground. He would have gotten more. He just ran out of room.
This next play, it's not flashy, but this truly was the play of the game. The Tigers were the only team to make their PAT, and that was the difference in the ball game. Coach Nez on his boys' gritty performance.
It's always great to be 1-0. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, and against a good football team, particularly a really good defensive team. And as always, it's never as good as it seems. There's plenty of mistakes that we can correct, and never as bad as it seems when it goes the other way. And then the unfortunate thing, Kaylin, is we're really just getting started. So regardless of win or lose, it's right back to work with, and as you begin to stack some 1-0s, each game just seems to feel bigger and get bigger each week from a player and a coach's perspective. But all in all, very pleased with how the boys competed for 4 quarters in a tough, old-fashioned, grind-em-out high school football game.
It would be impossible to go through every game we got on Friday, so we'll pick just one more, Mr. McGee. It has to be another unbeaten squad, this time north of the border.
Just like Kirksville, Ottumwa is off to their best start in many years, and they continue to flex their muscles regardless of competition. Another team looking to go 3-0 for the first time in a while was Ottumwa, as they face Des Moines Lincoln. Cameron Maeri breaks a few arm tackles, and he breaks it open for a 55-yard touchdown. Chris, that was his 10th of the season in just 3 games. That's good enough to lead Class 5A in that particular stat.
He's not just an offensive player, folks. This time it's Maneri on the defensive side. I'm not sure if this will count towards his total, Mr. McGee, but he gets the pick, and he takes it to the house for another tutty.
The icing on the cake for the Bulldogs, they get blowout in homecoming, winning by 41. Coach Light had a lot of great things to say after his Bulldogs' big win.
I was happy about our homecoming win. After last year getting beat at homecoming and the way that we did, I think our kids knew the importance of how we'd handle our business throughout the week, and I thought our kids did outstanding. We had a great week of prep. As a coach, we came out flat. I thought we came out flat as a team. We got punched in the mouth really early. They scored. They took the opening kickoff, and 2 plays later they scored. But, with that event happening to us, I was really happy with the way our kids responded. And, they responded very quickly. We had to make some adjustments, offensively and defensively. Lincoln did a great job of preparing for us. It took advantage of some of the things we've been doing in the first 2 weeks. But, we were able to overcome and adapt and score 62 points there.
These aren't the only teams still undefeated on the season.
Let's take a quick look at some other area scores from Week 3.
Welcome back to KTVO's Gridiron Lights preview. If you want to see more Week 3 highlights, the KTVO sports team got to 11 games last week. All of them can be found on KTVO.com under Gridiron Lights. We begin our preview show on the road with the Kirksville Tigers. They're on the road in Moberly, a team the Tigers have historically struggled with. While the Tigers have won 2 of their last 3 matchups, and while Moberly is 0-3 on the season, this isn't a team the Tigers will take lightly. In fact, this is the perfect trap game to catch a Kirksville team reeling after beating a tough Savannah team last week. Head coach Greg Nesbitt knows this all too well. As a former college coach, he's scouted lots of players from Moberly and knows their program could be as good as anyone's in the area.
They're a well-coached football team. Both sides of the football, they've got a strong identity offensively. They know who they want to be. So that allows kids to play faster and have a better chance to execute more consistently. And then defensively, you know, as I took this job, Caitlin, last February, March, whenever that was, probably March, immediately did a deep dive on video on teams, and Moberly jumped out and grabbed you defensively with their organization, their system. Once again, they have a pretty good identity of who they are and what they're trying to get accomplished there. So I thought just all in all, a very sound, well-coached high school football team.
Back to the Bulldogs. Their quest to go 4-0 takes them to a familiar place as they face Oskaloosa in the Indians' homecoming game. Since 2014, Ottumwa is 4-2 against Oski, with last year's game going down to the wire, 30-28. When you have a game like this, your record, your skill, and even your speed doesn't matter. Anyone can go out with a dub. Coach Light says they aren't taking this week lightly, and his players know how much this game means for each team's community.
Their kids know our kids. It's a big rivalry game. It's one of the oldest in the state of Iowa, and you know, two programs with a rich history. I think it's going to be definitely our biggest challenge of the year to date. I know our kids are looking forward to it. You know, we have a chance to go 4-0, and I think that's really what sparks our kids. But you know, again, we've got to have a great week of prep. We've got to be able to make adjustments, probably make some adjustments sooner than we did last week. And you know, I think that Oskaloosa is always going to be a tough game because of the history and the traditions and everything. But you know, like I said, our kids know their kids, and you know, they're friends in a lot of ways. They compete in a lot of other sports, so it's a friendly rivalry, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to go and compete again.
We switch out Kayla McGee for Chief Meteorologist Matt Gunn. The KTVO Tailgate Tour will be in Centerville this week, and we kick off around 7 p.m. It's Paper Hat and Dance Clinic night, Matt. Any chance those paper hats get a little soggy?
Well, it's a good thing that their game is not tomorrow night, as there's a better chance of seeing some soggy conditions tomorrow night for your Thursday compared to the Friday. But unlike the past few weeks for Gridiron Lights, it is going to be a little warm out there. As you can see, we're looking at temperatures likely into the upper 70s to lower 80s. So hopefully all the athletes around the area on Friday are hydrated with plenty of water, Gatorade, Powerade, to get himself ready for those games. I don't think it's going to be warm enough for those games to be delayed like they have been in the past and like you guys saw last year. But again, it's going to be a warm night for football this Friday as Centerville takes on Clark. So yes, if they were in their paper hats, they're probably going to be staying dry. And it's going to be a warm weekend for football, regardless if it's high school, college, or professional. But if you're going to any college games this upcoming weekend around the area, you may need to have the poncho with you, as we're looking at soggy conditions for both Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Matthew. You want to make a paper hat? You can wear it for us? There are 13 area teams playing at home this week, and this one could be probably the best game of the week. Yes, Brookfield and South Shelby are trying to remain undefeated, but it's the Marceline and Milan game that will be one of the most competitive. Two 2-1 teams vying for victory number 3, and it could be their biggest. The two teams are nearly identical on paper, both scoring more than 34 points per game, both allowing just 19, and both losing to South Harrison. This game, like they always do, will come down to the...
I think we have to control the line of scrimmage. In the last couple games, we've been able to do that, especially if you look at the totality of the football contest. And so I think we have to control the line of scrimmage. If you look at Marceline, they're big and physical, and they have been controlling the line of scrimmage in their wins. Early in last week's contest, South Harrison kind of had them, and then at the second half, Marceline woke up and played really, really good up front, and that kind of got them back into the football game. And so I think if we want to win this one, if there's a chance for us to win it, we're going to have to control the line of scrimmage from start to finish.
Let's take a look at the remaining home games in our area for this upcoming Friday. We're heading into week 4, the halfway point of high school football season. The rust has to be shaken off by now as the season begins to intensify. Well, that does it for this week's KTVO Gridiron Preview. Catch all the action Friday night on KTVO at 10:15.